Hello guys, welcome to Coder. Hope you are doing great. Once again, welcome to Coder. In today's video, we are going to discuss and learn about the React useState hook. So let's get started. At first, we will see what are the topics we are going to cover in this tutorial. First is what is useState hook. Second is how to import useState hook in your application. Now, after that, we'll see how you can implement use state hook in your project or in your application and what are the rules of using use state hook. So all these topics we will cover in detail. At first, we will see what is use state hook. Use state hook is a fundamental React hook used for managing state in functional component. That means use state is a hook that we can use in any of the functional component and it is used to manage state of your application. So it allows you to declare state variable and provide a mechanism for updating them. Now you can see the syntax part. So at first we are declaring constant and inside array constant, and inside that one we are defining two variables, state and second is set state. After that we are defining use state and it contains initial value. So that means whenever you are defining any state, we have to provide some initial value. So initial value can be empty string. If you are defining string type state, it can be boolean true or false depending upon state you want to set. After that it can be an object, it can be an array. So but you have to define some initial value in your use state. The reason is because the first variable which we have defined, state, it represents the current state value. Because when you want to render your data, at that time that initial value will get rendered. Set state. So set state is a function that allow you to update the state. Because initially if you are defining any value or defining any data or any state with some initial value, but somewhere in your application you want to update that state. In that case, we will use set state as a function to update the state. And initial value, we are aware that we have to define some initial value in your application. So this is all theoretical we have discussed, but we will see live how you can implement it and how to define use state hook. Okay, so I have my this application which is up and running. Okay, at first what we have to do, we have to import use state from React. So the syntax will be import use state from React. Okay, and after that const, and I will write count will be initial variable which hold my initial value, and second will be function which can hold our state. Okay, so I'm defining as 0 as my initial value. Okay, now this is the syntax to define use state hook. Now to render any variable, what we do, we can write pen. Okay, and we can write count, This will be our variable count. Now if we see, it will be 0 because that's what we have defined as a initial value. Now if I am defining 100, we will get 100 because this is the initial value we have defined. Now we want to change 100 to some other value. At that time we will use set count as a function to update or mutate our state. So at that time what we are doing, so for that one we have to take one button because we want to perform a click operation. So we will define on click, and the function will define, suppose, set count, same, okay, and set count will hold our previous count and that previous count plus 1, okay, and I will name it click me. Now if we check what we are getting, I'm just setting it to 0 again. Now if we see the output, we are getting 0. Now the button size is quite bigger. Now if I click me, now count is getting increased one by one. So what we are doing actually, here we have taken one button. In that button we are using on click function. On click we are calling set count function. In set count, what we are doing, we are incrementing our useState count value by 1, and here we are taking previous count. That means suppose right now we are at 0. Now we want to update 0 to 1. Now second time if we will get previous count as 1, and then on top of that one we are updating it to 1 more, and on the basis of that one we are getting 2, and so on. So here we have seen how we can define useState hook. Now if you have to define multiple states, then how can you do it? In the same way you can perform that same operation. So if I write, let me just remove this, I'm just writing count name, it will be set name, and name we are defining empty string, and second we are taking age, set age, and use state, and the value will be suppose 30. So what we did, we have defined two states, and now we want to render these two states. So I will take pen and I will write name, and here I will render age. Now name, suppose I'm defining coder, okay. Now if you see the output, name will be coder, age will be 30. So this is how you can define multiple states in your project. So there is no restriction, you can define as many states you want, but if you are defining too many states, then somewhere you have to take how many states you want to manage. So depending upon the scenario, you can define as many states you want. Now we will see how you can handle form data using state. In order to handle any form data, what we have to define, basically for form, definitely we need to, at first we will remove this one, okay. At first we will define form, sorry, we will definitely want to have one form, okay. Inside that one we'll define div, and then it will be name, it will be input type because it will be text. Okay, and likewise we'll write name, email. So at first we'll see what output we are getting. Okay, we have name, we have email. Okay, and definitely we want to have one submit button, and it will be submit. Okay, now definitely here we are using name and email as the input text, so that means we have to define state as well, because state will hold our form data. Now we will do cons, and it will be form data, and second variable will be set form data. And now we are defining initial value as our object, and that object will contain name as blank and age will be blank. Okay, now whenever you are inputting or whenever you are entering your name, so we want to capture that updated name in our form. So for that one, what we do, we will click on change. Okay, in on change, what we are doing, we will define one function, and we will name as handle change. Okay, so same thing we will do in case of age as well. Sorry, this one we can write email. Okay, now we will define handle change. Okay, so we are defining our method. Now here what we will do, at first whenever we giving input on name or email, this method will be called handle change, and this will be event.prevent default, and we will get our data event.target.name. So, and we are using set form data to set our data, and this will be form data to be our object. So what we can do, because we have defined object form data, and second thing will be e dot target dot name will be e dot target dot value. Okay, once we do that one, we want to have value in case of input, and this will be form data dot name, because name as input one, and here it will be our email. Okay, and once we click on that one, suppose button we are clicking, and on form we have form submitted. Okay, this one, once we click on submit button, once we click on that button, we will, what we will do, we will call this form submitted method, and there we will do the console.log. Okay. So I will write const and it will be over e will be event.prevent default, because because the default functionality of form is whenever we click on submit the form, the page will get refreshed. But in case of React, we don't want to refresh our page. We just want to do the console.log, and it will be form data. Button type submit. Okay. Now let's refresh and see the output. And if we open the console as well, okay. Now we are giving the name. Okay, something is messing up. We will check what we are doing. Form data e.target.value. Okay, set form data, we are calling that one, and this will be our form data, and e.target.name. Okay, sorry, we haven't defined any name. So it will be our name, and name will be email. Okay, now we'll say name folder, and email will be. Now once we submit that form, we want to have that submitted form data. If we submit that one, you see we are getting output email and name as a form data. So in this form, you can have in your project, you can have quite many input box, and once you submit that one, you will get your data in console. Once you have data in your console, what you can do, you can call an API and you can send data to your API. So this is how you can make use of useState hook in your application, and you can work on your useState hook. So in this video, we have seen different ways to use useState hook. First is how you can define it. Second is how you can use multiple state in your component. And third is we have taken, or we have seen one live example. Once you have a form, how you can use useState hook in your form to get the data and to call an API to send that data. So that's all in this video. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all.